And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it against this team!
Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it.
Good evening and welcome to the DN35 podcast. As always, we are joined by the beautiful Bruce, who has still got that poster, again rejected on Facebook Marketplace. It is worse than Tinder out there for Bruce. Bruce, what were you rejected on this time?
I don't even want to talk about it. It's just here, isn't it? Like as I told you the other day, I'm getting quite attached to it again, so I'm not too distraught.
That's true. But, you know, I'm just, these tales of woe that we hear from your Facebook Marketplace, it pulls at the heartstrings.
Oh, it is boring. It is bloody boring. Yeah, have you still got this? Yes. And then that's it. Then that's it. Nothing else. Gone.
Sounds like our technical abilities on the podcast, really.
They'd probably say more if you said no. Have you still got this? No. All right, thanks. But yes.
Why waste my time?
Yeah. Yes, it's just like nothing. Just no. Not even saying a word.
Daniel says, "Does he have milk?" I don't know what that means.
I was drinking milk, wasn't I, last week?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, he's here to drink some milk and kick some ass.
No drink tonight.
Milk.
No drink tonight.
Right. Yeah, he's been told. Mike, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm all right, pal. How are you?
I am very good. I put the flag up. I tell you something that's got a 100% win record. It ain't Bruce, but hang on, Weathermen have it hard, don't they? That thing does.
I reckon I'm in quite. I reckon there's quite a lot in my group. My gang of town fans, and I don't mean my personal gang, but I mean in general, that haven't seen us win this season. I
hadn't even thought of that.
No, Hannah says that she's the jinx, but when I thought about it, I don't think I have. I went to Orient. I've done all the home league games, I think, but
did you do
Crewe?
Crewe?
Might have missed one. I was on holiday for Crewe. I watched that from Turkey, and I've not been away for a few weeks because I'm going to Bilbao on Friday, so I won't be at Salford. So we will win. There you go.
So basically, there's a seat going. Is what we can garner from that. Look, I mean, what's wrong with us at home? Do we not like a big crowd? Is that jinx back? Is that what the problem is?
Mike looked like he was really deep in thought there, didn't he? He was like,
I hadn't even thought about that.
I don't know what it is. Yesterday I'm sure you were watching from France, but we were.
No, International Week. Didn't need to get a ticket. Didn't need to get the boat. I get a boat? I get a boat.
Oh, there's no 3. Oh, so when the big leagues aren't playing, there's no 3 p.m. Blackout.
No.
Yeah. So our chalet, we put it on Airbnb. We didn't need it this week, did we, Alex?
No. Can I say something slightly controversial?
Go on, then.
I'm slightly.
Oh, that was the moment gone, wasn't it?
I thought that was just me. Yeah. We didn't get any of that, mate.
I reckon, was that deliberate? Well, because you literally went.
Yeah, probably.
Can I say something controversial? And then you just
someone's pulled plug.
I thought I was on Facebook Marketplace again.
Yeah, right. Okay, it's maybe the podcast trying to save itself, but I was going to say I'm slightly disappointed that WSL takes pride of place during international weeks. So that's been sort of the highlight on TV and on radio this afternoon. On Saturday, they both had the Arsenal-Tottenham game, both TalkSport and 5 Live. But it's like there's like 48 other games going on, like which are better attended most of the time. Like, can we have a look? And also, you've had Sky this week say Sky One and League One and League Two are not going to have any games on telly. I just thought that was weird.
I've no problem with WSL getting as much coverage as it does, but this day and age, there's so many channels. You could stick 1 or 2 things on other channels as well. You know, how many, there's 4 Sky Sports channels dedicated to football. You know, you could stick a couple of league games on there.
Just stick the iFollow on and put a decent commentator on it. That'd be absolutely fine.
They pay the money. They pay the money for the league, for the money that they have to pay to Leagues 1 and 2. But let's be honest, they don't really give a shit. You know,
No,
how many times have we been on Sky when we've been in League 2? How often do you see a League 2 game? I think one of the last times we were on live that wasn't a playoff game was probably Hereford all them years ago, 2007 or something. They're just not interested.
And the quality is good enough. I mean, I watched Plymouth and Ipswich today, and that was a really good game, decent game. You know, it's not the quality. So I don't know why they don't, broaden their horizon a little bit and play a few of these lower league games on there. You know, they've got enough channels. It's not going to cost them any more to stick one of these games on. They've got the coverage there. So,
well, they would have certainly been entertained at Blundell Park, especially if you're a Swindon fan. The Mariners went down 2-1 to the mighty whatever they call themselves. Another home defeat. What did we all make of it? Bruce, you were there. What was the atmosphere like at the defeat? It seemed to be lacking.
I've made notes today.
Oh my God!
Anyone would think Tom was still in the room. No, I've made.
Oh, can we just mention this?
Professional. I've been professional today.
We haven't mentioned. So Tom has left the podcast for a bit. I don't. He's just said he's got a lot on. So hopefully he'll come back to this parish at some point. But we loved him being here, and he'll come back anytime he wants. Anyway, Bruce, what are you going to say?
We missed the floodlights, don't we?
We missed the floodlights. Yeah, that's true.
He used to like floodlight. A couple of years ago, he used to talk about the floodlights, didn't he? But I endorse that. He's certainly been a regular the whole time that I've done it with you. Yesterday, I thought the Swindon fans were excellent. There were 350 of them, which is one of the best turnouts that we've had this year.
Long way to come. Yeah,
one of the best turnouts we've had this year so far. They made noise pretty much throughout. I do think that stand lends itself to decent atmosphere. It's got a good roof and all the things that you need to, make good noise.
Switch it. Put them in the pony.
Take the roof off. Yeah, but no, they were very good, and I think they deserve some comment. The town fans, I thought, were certainly around where we were in the lower were better than they have been in the last couple of games that I've been to, which has been quite flat. And I also wrote down. I know we're not touched on the game yet, but that's 3 draws and a defeat in the league at home, isn't it? The fans haven't round us turned on the players in any way. They've not got at them. Maybe the odd shout, but there's been no sustained criticism. So I don't think the fans, like you say, there's in no way the fans are getting at the players, which is good. But it was just the first half was we were just out. I'm not sure. I'm not a tactician. I'm not sure if the formation suited us. They worked harder than the teams that really press us. There was another home game, I can't remember, a couple ago, where we got harried and we didn't really do a lot. The teams that really put pressure on us, we've not done so well against, and we've made this change. Obviously, when McAtee went out of the team, we played 3 more traditional central midfielders and just Taylor up front on his own, and it sort of feels now like we sort of used to play 4-3-3. And we'd have 2, you'd often have Clifton on the left and probably Kiernan on the right and Taylor down the middle, or something along those lines. And now we seem to have changed the formation to more of a sort of 4-4-1-1. But in the middle of the park, it means we've only got the 2. And I thought they seemed to struggle yesterday. We're not getting hold of the ball as much as we were in midfield. But yeah, there were too many players with off games yesterday. I'm not going to the right hand side. I thought was a bit dodgy, and we talked about this the other week. I think if Cropper was fit, I think he would probably be in the team now. I think Afete is a really good player. I think last year he looked strong, he looked powerful, he carried the ball forward.
Yeah.
But as we've said, I think he's got it, but at the moment he's lost it. would be my best way of sort of describing it. He just doesn't look confident. He's not bombing on. He's not running on at players, and he's so big and powerful, and he can run with the ball. You know that goal he scored at Torquay. You know, sort of cut through the midfield and into the area. He can do that, and if he ever listens to this, you can do that. But at the minute, it's not happening, and he doesn't look confident. And there's a few players. I think there'll be a few changes on Tuesday. I think probably at least 2 or 3. I would make.
Yeah, I think I said to you yesterday, Bruce. You know, he's kept a very settled side the last few games, and I think that's purely a case of you can't really change a side that's been doing so well. But I think the problems we had, especially in the first half yesterday, have been there to see for a few weeks. I saw a stat at half time, and I think it said we only had 30% possession, and for a League Two game of football at home, I don't think there's any excuse for you to be surrendering that much possession. I honestly think since we've brought Richardson in to try and get 2 up top, I think we've lost something in the middle of the park from going from 3 to 2. I think the problem with having 3 in the middle is you're leaving Taylor isolated. However, that was always when you were playing Clifton on the left and Kiernan on the right. I think if you go back to a 3 and try and get a foothold on the game and try and dictate the game a little bit more, get a hold of the ball, move it around and get yourselves into the game. I think if you went with more attacking wingers, that would sort of make up for losing the second man up front, because you know you've got more attack minded players that are going to get involved a lot more than Clifton and Kiernan. So I think you're right. I think there'll be a few changes. I'd be surprised to see us starting without that 3 in the middle, because that's where he went at half time. So I think he thinks that's where the problem was. If we could, I think we would change the entire right-hand side of our team. I think we've spoken about Afete before. I don't buy that he's not good enough for the step up. I just don't. I just think he's not confident. And I think at certain points yesterday, especially watching online, you could hear a few groans when he was doing things wrong. And I think that's in his head now. He knows he's been performing poorly. And I think he needs to come out of the side, just have a bit of a rest and to work on his game a little bit and come out of the spotlight. So if Cropper's available, I think we'd change him. And I think as much as Kiernan, as I said last week, as much as he runs and he works hard and he gives us a lot defensively, he doesn't do enough attacking in the attacking third for me. So I think we need to look at bringing Maguire, Drew in, maybe with Khan on the left, playing those 3 in the middle and trying to get a foothold on the game and play from there.
That was quite comprehensive. Yeah, I think
it's still shit though. It was a load of shit, wasn't it?
I think.
What did he just say? No, I thought, Mike. In all seriousness, mate, I thought that was really good.
that was the start of a shit sandwich. That was but yeah, I think it's interesting. I think Kiernan and Afete both together, and I think we should look at them as a pair. Aren't working. Afete, I don't want to be like Afete isn't good at the moment. Blah blah blah. He made some pretty bizarre decisions yesterday. There was a moment in the first half where he had the box at the ball at the edge of the box, and he just headed it totally on no one within sort of 10 yards of him. Just headed it quite weakly back to their keeper. There was also a moment when I think it was Holohan was trying to do the overlap on them, and instead of kicking it that way, as you say, and others have put in the chat, just turned back and played it back. And that's a big problem. And I don't know. At the moment, there isn't probably a solution unless you went 3 at the back and then, all hell for leather and just, let it rain on the right. I think there's options as well, which is the good thing. Maguire, Drew, as other people have said, Maguire, Drew, I think did enough yesterday, did a lot of chasing, a lot of harrowing to suggest he's ready for it. Maybe Hurst sees him more as an impact player. As players have got tireder, he can come on and make that impact. I just think we've got options to change it apart from at right back, and I think that's probably where we're stuck.
What I did notice yesterday, sitting down in the lower, was that when we got the ball out wide, there was no central. Neither of the central midfielders often seemed to be near the ball, so you would maybe have, and it might be part of the problem that we talked about with the right hand side, that Afete would get it, and then I noticed once Holohan was behind him and Clifton was nowhere. I don't know if it was when Clifton was there, but the other central midfielder was nowhere in sight. And I look, and sometimes we we don't have, yesterday we didn't have enough options when players got the ball, sort of trying to travel forward with it. And it didn't really happen until we got a bit gung ho. But I thought yesterday, Richardson has looked really lively. He looks like a really good player, but I thought yesterday he was quiet, whether he was well marshalled out the game. I thought Holohan didn't have the sort of game that he's had recently. Alex Hunt was quiet. I just think that it was probably a day. It's just a day to forget, really. And I bet I think I put on Twitter that I bet they're delighted that they've got another game on Tuesday, because they hate having a week between games, don't they, when they've not performed. And I think that there'll be some changes, and I'd like to think that was just a one-off, because at the end of the day, we could and probably should have got a result out of it. I think Hurst was pissed off with that as much as a performance. That there was a couple of those chances. I don't know if you could see online, but there was one, the first one I think it was, that came across from like the right hand side or the left hand side, and the guy just sort of he looked like he was in. I mean, it's hard to tell the pontoon end from where we are, but he looked like he was about 3 or 4 yards out, and he looked like he thought he could just sort of roll the ball into the net rather than really putting his foot through it, and gave them the opportunity. I don't know who it was.
No, it was Smith, and the way it had come to him, he didn't have time to sort of change his footing.
Right.
So he just dug his foot into it, and it was a good block. It was. He had two. He had the other one as well, which was brilliantly saved by the inside of the keeper's thigh. The keeper for Swindon yesterday was stunning. He was great. He did all the things you'd want him to do.
But yeah, and like I say, I just, if you look that we should have we should have probably got a point out of it. If we'd have just had a couple of the players that performed a little bit better yesterday, that sort of margin would probably have given us that result. So it's not all doom and gloom.
None of it is. None of it is too, but it's just chatting about it, isn't it?
No, I'm saying my opinion. Is that it's not doom and gloom, and we'll go. We'll go again. But I am a little concerned. I've just I've had a look, and in our 9 games that we've played so far, we've scored 1 goal on 5 occasions. We've scored 2 goals twice, and that's picked up 2 wins. And we've had twice we've failed to score. So we're scoring 1, but we don't very often look like scoring more than that. And unless you're very tight at the back, which we've actually won 1-0 twice, then you're not going to be up. So we do need to find a way of scoring more goals with this team.
I think that might come from the fact. I mean, we've spoken for a few weeks about how we're getting away to some extent with being poor in possession. I mean, the last few away games and things, we've spoken about how we were maybe a little bit lucky to get away with it, and I think Saturday probably gives them the opportunity to change it. I think one of the reasons we're probably not possessing enough goal threat is our lack of being able to get hold of the ball. The more you have the ball, the more chances you can create, because you've got, percentage-wise, you've got more of the ball. So I think if he changes it and tries to get those attacking wingers and get hold of the middle of the park, that might give us a better chance of having more chances and then ultimately more goals. But it's really important to remember we've had an absolutely fantastic start. And if you would given me this start of the season, I'd have bit your hand off. So it's just looking at a game and thinking we deserved a point against a really good Swindon side, actually. I think they were really good. And I think we did enough to deserve a point. So that's 12 months is a long time. And if we could think that's where we were 12 months ago, then I'd have bitten your hand off.
Wait, let's Josh is saying we're doom and gloom, so let's keep it there. Their player sent off. I don't necessarily think it was a second yellow. And I thought we took and one of the things I will point towards the players, I thought we took far too long to get the bit between our teeth and start going for it. I was particularly disappointed in one instant with Alex Hunt, where with about 8 minutes to go, he had the ball in the centre of the park, and instead of launching it in, he took one. No, it wasn't even 8 minutes ago. It was into injury time, like 1, 2, 3 touches in the middle of the park, just taking their time. And I was really surprised. And it took until probably with about 8 minutes to go before we really went, hang on a minute, we've got one man. They've got one man left. Let's push for it. And I was surprised it took that long. And it was nice to see JMD come on and make those sort of changes. But I think we'll move on. We'll go again. Bits to learn. But are we learning from these sort of performances? I'm not sure.
I still think we're a really good side in League Two. And I think we've been fantastic. I think we just need to make a few changes going forward to try and cement that. But we're a really good side in League Two from what I've seen.
Yeah, all good. All good. It's not, like I say, it does put a little bit more pressure on Tuesday, but let's go and win on Tuesday.
Well, we will do. I mean, if our guy was here, that would have been a perfect link, but he's not. So we'll.
Who did you get? Did you get Gary Neville?
Yeah, no, we got no Salford guy. I'm really sorry. I'm actually messaging one now. He says, "Oh, I can do tomorrow." So if we can all hang around till tomorrow, that'd be really appreciated. But I mean, we don't get this. This was a National League problem. It's not. It shouldn't be a Football League problem. But there we go. I need a producer. But I don't know. It's an interesting one. Let's before we move on, then let's talk about Rotherham, because things are continuing to bubble and talk. The latest rumours I've heard on the grapevine are that Rotherham are interested, and they would quite like to speak to Mr. Hurst. Which, I mean, we spoke about it on Thursday with Jason, Debbie, and Andrew. So look, if it happens, it happens. But that won't have affected yesterday. But could it affect things going on? I even heard the one of the things was Rotherham might be quite happy to wait, get an interim guy in, and then take him in the summer. I wouldn't want that to happen. I don't know about you guys. Totally hypothetical rumours, but I wouldn't particularly feel comfortable with that.
No, I think if you're going to make a break, you need to make a break quickly. You can't have that hanging over you. I don't necessarily believe we're going to make a break. I think if you look at the Rotherham job, as Paul himself has said, it's an easy link to make, and there may be interest in Paul Hurst. Who wouldn't be, with his track record and what he's done at that, and what he's done as a player at that club? But there'll be interest in a lot of managers. So that doesn't necessarily mean he's their number one. When you look at the Rotherham job, to me, it just doesn't make sense at the moment for him. Rotherham are 8th in the Championship last time I looked. I don't see how much more he can do than that. If he goes into Rotherham now, he's going to end up trying to keep them up. So he's going to be going backwards already. If Rotherham were in League One when Paul Warne left, I would be more concerned, because I think there's room for him to develop and room for him to move the club forward. I just don't see what the project is there. They would probably want to keep themselves in the Championship and stop yo-yoing. With that, they're probably going to want somebody that has some Championship experience and some experience of doing that. Also, the fact with Paul's move to Ipswich in the past, that might also be in the back of his mind. So I think it's an easy link to make. I think they probably are interested. I mean, who wouldn't be? But I don't see it personally. I don't see how he goes. But if he does, I'm sure we've got the right setup to support whoever comes in after, just to carry on.
I was just looking at the betting. Dean Holden's the favourite at the moment, with Gareth Ainsworth and Hurst behind him. They're the sort of three favourites. Now you would say without the Rotherham link, which obviously there is, Ainsworth's done better at a higher level for over a more sustained period. So we'll, but I don't know. I don't know. If you're looking from the outside, we finished 6th last season, quite a long way off top. I mean, he's turned the club around in a relatively short space of time from a team that got relegated. But we were a little bit fortunate, and we went up through the playoffs from 6th, which hasn't happened before. So yeah, I'm not convinced that he'll go, which probably means he will. But I think if they offered it to him, it would be hard for him to turn down. But I'm not 100% convinced he'll get offered it.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, right. So Lee is coming to talk to us about Carlisle. We're going to go second time round on this one, and we'll see what we can do. We'll be back with you in 3 seconds. 10 seconds. That's what it says.
Behind, so that's the final act of the game, which means Brisbane Town are back in the Football League just a year after those awful scenes that acted.
We are back, and we're joined by Lee from the Brunton Bugle. Lee, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard this fair ship mariner. How are you?
I'm very good, thanks, Alex. I like that video you play in the middle bit. That's very fancy. We don't have any of that on our podcast, unfortunately, but yeah, no, it's good. It's good to be on.
We were having a row at the time with me and my wife, so I had time to kill. Well, we'll go around the roundabout twice, as most people in Swindon have to. Welcome, and welcome back to Blundell Park. I know it was a short trip last time. What are feelings up in the northwest about returning, and how are things going on down there?
Yeah, it was a weird one, wasn't it? That game, really. It's one of those ones when we'd had a solid start to the season, and I think we wanted to keep it going, and a little bit frustrating that it was called off. But I think everybody looking back at it realizes now, realistically, that game could not carry on any longer than it did. It probably shouldn't have kicked off, but then again, you've got to try and give it a go, I guess. How things go for us? Pretty good at the moment, really, all things considering. I mean, last season we were a shambles for about 80% of it. Absolutely awful. We had 3 different managers over the campaign. I mean, Chris Beach, to be honest, the collapse under him started in January of the previous season when COVID affected us, and I think we had to play 12 weeks in a row of Saturday Tuesdays, and it crippled us, and Beach was incapable of changing the team and getting us playing properly. That bled into the following season, and he just did not have a clue how to change things up. Ended up getting the sack. We had a couple of weeks of lots of rooms, our different managers coming in, and we appointed Keith Millen, who hadn't had a managerial job for, I think, 15, 16 years. And fans were as puzzled as you look there with your face. There's Keith Millen, you appointed him as manager when you were struggling to get away from relegation. And it went as well as you'd expect. There was a couple of good results in there, but beyond that, we were awful. The signings he made were dreadful. And yeah, come the end of February, a month after the transfer window shut, we had to get rid of him. And, he was sacked. And then literally an hour later, the saviour returned, Paul Simpson. And to say he performed a minor miracle keeping us up with the squad that he obviously had is an understatement. For some fans, him leaving to go to Preston that season after we won the League Two title in 2006 tainted his time with us. But actually, this is basically, even for those fans now, they're like, yeah, the man's a legend, Kai and I a legend through and through. And there was a worry because obviously it's interesting you talking about the fact that Hurst has been linked with the job at Rotherham. Well, Derby County's job was looking like it was coming up with Wayne Rooney going, and Simo's a bit of a legend as a player at Derby, even though he's a Carlisle lad and legend with us. And there was a feeling like higher level, he's been a coach there, a player there. Oh, they're just going to come in for him. And thankfully, before the end of the season, we announced he had a 3-year deal, and he's done a rebuilding job over the summer. And expectations were sort of middling of mid-table, that'll do this year. He's got 3 years, he's got time to build something. And we are there at the moment, we're mid-table, but what you've got to take into account is we've got about 7 or 8 players out injured at the moment. And at least 3 or 4 of them would probably be challenging for a starting 11 place. So right now, at the weekend against Newport, we had Christian Dennis up front, who's obviously top scorer. He had I think a brief loan spell with you guys, probably not particularly successful from what I remember. He's been flying, but we had Jack Stretton alongside him, who's coming on loan from Derby County. That was his EFL debut. He's only about 19, 20. And he was replaced as a sub by a 17-year-old youth team player making his debut. That's the attacking options we've got fit at the moment. And yet we're still in mid-table and we still only lost 1 game. So overall, yeah, I think we're quite happy with how things are going, with a feeling of actually we can probably do a bit better than we expected this season.
This has got 0-0 written all over it. I'm just you've scored 11 in 9 and conceded 9, and we've scored 9 and conceded 7. I was just trying to build myself up and get a bit excited about Tuesday night, and it's just got 0-0 or possibly 1-1 written all over it. This.
I've already mentioned this with Lee. Sorry. Yeah. Actually, no, Lee, you go ahead. You go.
Well, I was just going to say, our defence is probably one of our strong points this season. I mean, take away the game against Rochdale, where we just had a collective brain fart for half an hour in that game and gave away 3 goals to what was one of the worst teams in the division, although they looked a lot better that day, to be fair. We've looked really solid, and we've got our first choice back 3, we reckon, is as good as any in this division. Morgan Feely playing on the right side. He's captain now, and he was fantastic second half of last season. John Mellish on the left, he will get up and down the pitch all day. He's got an incredible engine on him. He played in midfield a couple of years ago and scored 17 goals in midfield. That's the kind of player he is. He'll just run all day. And then Paul Huntington was Preston's captain for the best part of 5-6 years. And he's a local lad who's come back to finish his career with us, basically. and he's been fantastic since he's come in. And beyond that, Ben Barkley, we signed him on loan from Stockport. Why Stockport? We're letting him go on loan. I have no idea because he looks great for us. He's injured at the moment, frustrating. And then Corey Whelan scored the weekend. He's fifth choice centre back. Doesn't look out of place when he comes to the team. So defensively, we're really sound at the moment. Actually, it's an area we're quite comfortable in.
And how is the perennially 19-year-old Jamie Devitt doing?
Injured.
Thank God for that.
Injured as usual. I thought it's a frustrating one with Jamie. He's such a popular player with our fans. When he came back from Barrow in January, it was only a deal to the end of the season, and he got injured 7 games in, and we played 4 starts in a row, and we won all 4 of those games, and those 4 games were key to us staying up. And basically, he didn't get a contract originally in the summer. He was told to come back, train with the team, build up your fitness, see how you do. And he managed to get through pre-season with one little niggly injury. That was it. And they're like, right, he's got to deal with it. It's not a pay-as-you-play deal, but he's got a very low basic, and he gets appearances on top of that, basically. So he's been a bit unlucky this season because when he has played, he's actually looked quite good. So there you go.
So I was saying, we mentioned this. I did a preview with you guys just a minute ago, and we spoke about Carlisle being the Goldilocks of our pitch. I found the quote. So it was from Stephen Presley, who said, "The state of the pitch down there, it was appalling. In this day and age, for a side to be in the top 4 divisions, has to have an irrigation system. In order to play good football, one condition is the pitch needs to have water on it. That has had sunshine for days." Lee, why can't we keep you guys happy? What's going on? Too much? Not enough? I don't know.
Our fans don't. Most of our fans don't particularly like Stephen Presley, so I wouldn't worry too much about that one. He's not exactly a popular figure with Carl. I didn't mind him, to be honest. I thought he was a decent enough bloke, but just he was dealt a really duff hand when he took over as manager with us. But yeah, he's in the past for us.
I hope our groundsman was saying that one's for you, Stephen, as someone was picking. Who was the bloke that went in for the tackle, Bruce, that ended up in the sea?
I have not got a clue, mate.
Who was it?
Finback was the player he took out. So
it was Glennon, wasn't it?
Was it Glennon? Yeah,
oh,
poor
yeah.
Glennon.
It was actually
He's sliding now.
Yeah,
poor Glennon, as he was sliding, he was able to put a couple of 2Ps in the machine as the slots as he was going down the promenade. But as they were picking him up, I hope that's what they said. Thank you, Daniel. You're absolute Glennon. So I'm glad we've got it confirmed. But look, what are you expecting for this season? And has much changed in League Two since the year we've been away? Who are the Boo Boys? I mean, ours is probably Steve Evans, but what's been going on and what did we miss last year?
In terms of touch on the League Two thing at first, it's a difficult one because the ultimate pantomime villain in this division, Harry McCurdy, has now left to go to Hibs, and as you know, he had a spell with us, and he was actually quite good for us. He scored 11 goals in 30-odd games, but he just did not like his time at Carlisle. He basically made it very clear that he wasn't happy with our fans in one game for not getting behind the team or something, and he just acted up ever since then. And ever since he's played against us, he says, "I hate my time at Carlisle. I hated it." And every time he scores against us, he laps it up big time. Like they beat us 3-0. In fact, his performance is what got Keith Millen sacked. So our fans love him now because he got Keith Millen sacked, and as a result, Paul Simpson came back. So he's gone, sadly. I say sadly, I'm quite glad to see the back of him. Yeah, it's a weird one because Swindon were great last year, and it looks like they're going to be middling now. The only team that were any good last year that looks like they're going to be up there is Northampton. Orient were nowhere, like bang average last year. Richie Wellens has done an incredible job there. I don't think anyone could doubt that. Barrow were appalling, and yet bringing a manager, a few signings, and they're right up near the top. I always thought Stevenage would be up there, to be honest, because as much as, like you, I can't stand Steve Evans, he is a good manager. He knows how to get a side well drilled at this level, albeit underhand ways of doing it in the past, I think it's fair to say. But yeah, it's a weird division. I mean, Crawley have obviously had all this crypto bro money coming in, and that's worked out wonderfully for them so far, as you can see. But yeah, not a huge amount has changed really, other than the really good teams went up last year. Most of the teams that were up there, sort of up there-ish, but a few teams that were down the bottom have moved up, and yeah, it's a bit of a muchness really. In terms of what our expectations are, we went into it, like I said, mid-table. I think I said to you, Alex, when we had a chat, that we probably would have been happy. I mean, all the predictions for all the different magazines had us literally going up one place from 20th to 19th. We thought we're a little bit better than that. Simpson's done a good job. He's brought some okay players in the summer, but we'll take 12 to 14 for about then. We're in that position now with a game in hand, and that's despite having 8 players out injured. And like I said, about four, maybe at a push 5 of them will be challenging for a first team place. So get those players fit, and particularly in the attacking options where we've got nothing really at the moment to bring off the bench. Actually, we probably could challenge for a playoff place. So the expectations, I think, have risen slightly since the start of the season.
And who should we be looking out for on Tuesday night? Not that we got much of a chance to see him last time round.
Whoever's fit, basically. No,
I'm glad to hear that. I'm
yeah.
glad to hear that.
No, I'm being slightly facetious there, really. Bear in mind, like I said, we brought a 17-year-old on to make his debut at the weekend. But I've sort of mentioned the defence already there. I mean, John Mellish will run for days. He actually played. You probably see him as much in your box as you will in our box, because he links up really well with Jack Armour on the left, who's a left wing back, who's done really well. Actually, there was a lot of expectation he may not start at the start of the season. He struggled a bit towards the end of last season, but he's actually stepped his game up a lot. And the other wing back, Finn Back, we've got him on loan from Nottingham Forest. Now, the name Back might sound familiar because he's the son of Neil Back, the Rugby Union World Cup winner from 2003. So he's only 19. He's on loan from Forest, but he again will run for days. He gets up and down the pitch loads. He looks a really good player. He played 5 times for Forest in the Championship last season, so he must have something about him. But actually, in midfield, I'd argue, I said our defence is good, but in midfield, we've got 3 players in there who've done really well. And a lot of opposition podcasts and other people have actually been picking them out and saying, that's a really good midfield 3 they've got there. It's Callum Guy, who's been with us. I think he's our second longest serving player after Mellish now. He had a bit of a tough time last season. He didn't quite hit the standard he had the year before, but he looks back to his best now. He's a ball winner. He'll get the attack. It starts the attacks from deep, but he basically sprays out about a bit. Owen Moxon, we signed him in the summer from Annan Athletic in the Scottish League too. He actually started out in our academy, but was let go at the age of 16. So he's gone to Annan. I think he went to Queen of the South first, and then he's had a loan spell at Gretna, and then went to Annan. And he's built himself back up at Annan. He was in the Scottish League 2 Team of the Year last year. He was, up Annan's Player of the Year, won all their awards. And we thought, okay, he's going to take a bit of time to settle in. He's been working as a UPS driver. He's not been playing full time. He'll take a bit while to settle. He's been phenomenal. He's took to it like a duck to water. He really, really looks like he's been playing at this level for years. The only thing missing at the moment is a goal. He's been a bit sloppy with some of his finishing because he got a few goals for Annan, but he looked all right. And then Jordan Gibson completes that 3. He plays just behind the front 2 effectively. He comes a bit deep sometimes, but he was a winger when we first brought him in, and he's a lively player. Despite being a winger, he'll win the ball back up quite high up the pitch. He's quite willing to put a tackle in, and he's basically our biggest creative threat going forward. He's made a big difference. And I've gone through all those, and I haven't even mentioned Christian Dennis, who's our top scorer. And I mean, you guys probably remember him not so fondly from his loan spell, because I don't think he did that well for you guys. But yeah, he's compared against the player we had at the end of last season where he didn't look fit, and we knew he wasn't fit when we signed him. He had a tough time at St Mirren. He's worked so hard in his fitness over the summer. He looks so much sharper, and the result is he's banging in goals for fun for us.
That's well. Let's hopefully we can put end and pay to that. Do you have any? What are your predictions for the for Tuesday night? What are your hopes? I guess are probably best. Are you expected? How's your away form been?
We haven't won away from home yet, but we've only lost 1, and that was Stevenage, and that was the only game where we haven't turned up. Basically, we were pretty poor that day. Got what we deserved, which I think was a 2-1 defeat in the end, and yeah, we just weren't at the races. Whereas all the other games, we've got draws, and we I think quite a few of them we've come from behind. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. With Colchester, we came from behind, and we definitely came from behind at the weekend. And I can't even remember what the other game was, but basically, I mean, we quite often come from behind. So taking the lead's probably not something to get too excited about in the game, because there's every chance we'll come back. And yeah, it's a really tough one to judge, simply because we just don't have those options off the bench. I'm hoping Amari Patrick will be fit again for this one, because he missed the weekend because he had a slight hamstring niggle. And there's hope that he'll be back for it. It'd probably be too soon for Ryan Edmondson as other attacking option. So I'll take another draw.
Well, we'll settle for that at the moment. But Thank you very much, Lee. Thanks for joining us.
No problem at all.
Enjoy it. If you come back down, enjoy the fish and chips, and we'll speak to you soon.
I won't be coming down for this one, unfortunately, because of work. But I've been a couple of times, and I have enjoyed my trips, despite it being quite a long journey along the old M62.
No problem. Speak to you soon.
Cheers,
Thanks,
Lee.
Lee.
Yes.
Thank you, mate.
Bye. So, I mean, we've got quite a busy schedule to come. We don't have anyone from Salford, but we'll play them as well before. Oh no, we do. Alex is here, not me. It's not.
I was just about to abuse them then as well.
Well, I'm guessing about
This
our fan base then.
Quick in, quick out. This is how we're doing it now. Turnstiles. Alex, welcome. The Salford City fan, brave enough to put his head above the parapet. How are things going for you guys? We play you on Saturday. Have you got some? I guess you don't have a game on Tuesday. So
you're playing Carlisle, aren't you?
I hope so. If not, that preview we've just done is going to be pointless.
Yeah,
but we should be, and so we'll be a bit more tired. How's the season been going for you, and what are the expectations for the game on Saturday?
Well, obviously we just come off a win at Sutton, scoring 2 goals in the last 10 minutes, which I was meant to go as well, but I'd work and been playing well. I was a bit optimistic at the start of the season because obviously the new manager coming in with no experience. And then we beat Mansfield 2-0, which was really good. And then from that, the football's just been really good. I think the signings he's brought in have been really good. Like his backroom staff as well. I've no experience, but the players he brought in on I know obviously the budget, but we were bringing players in for literally nothing. And then obviously we've sold one of our best players now. But yeah. It's looking good, but hopefully Saturday another win, which it definitely will be hard.
I'm glad to hear it. I mean, well, I don't want you being too confident. Who are your guys to watch out for? Who are the people we need to man mark and give them a bit of an elbow to?
I think in the midfield, where he's called Elliot Watt. We signed him from Bradford. Have you heard of him?
No, I've been concentrating on Wealdstone. and who's coming? That's my focus for the last year. What's he like?
Oh, he's absolutely class. He came from Bradford after being in the poor side, and all the Bradford fans were saying he should have gone to League One. He's good enough, but saying that Bradford have been awful the last 3 years, and he's been one of our best players. In the midfield, he's creating chances for a CDM, and he just knows what to do. And Callum Hendry as well. He plays as a striker, but more of a number 10. And hopefully, if Odin Bailey's fit, he'd be really good. We signed him as a bit of a replacement for Asante and a 2-year loan from Birmingham, and he's been really good when he's been playing.
We must be the most miserable podcast in the world because you get these other people. They sound really enthusiastic and excited about the teams, genuinely, don't we? And we sort of, I'll just shut up because
how have you been thinking about which one? How do you think about how do you think about our right side, Bruce?
It's the best in League Two.
It's fucking awesome.
Bar none. Kiernan and Afete are going to tear you apart.
And then is McAtee plays up top?
Yeah, you won't have him. He's injured at the moment, mate. You've escaped that.
He's a local lad as well. He's a local lad from Salford, isn't he?
Oh, I didn't know that. I know he's Manchester based.
Mate. Salford's not in Manchester.
It's all the northwest. It's all the same.
Well, I don't like him.
That's the Yorkshire man.
John McAtee, I rate him so much, and I think what he did for the club as well. He didn't want to go on a free, so he's come back. Even though he's gone to Luton, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. He's back on loan now, but he'll be out till Christmas.
Just funnily though, Alex, I do hope for McAtee's sake that his manager that he really likes doesn't go to Rotherham in the Championship, which is sort of closer to home, and then he's down at Luton, and his old manager that he really likes could have taken him to Rotherham.
Oh well, come on, McAtee's got to dream higher than Rotherham, hasn't he?
They're the same as Luton at the minute, aren't they?
Oh, I don't know. I'd put Luton above Rotherham. Maybe they got a shinier stadium.
Bit biased, but being from Rotherham, I think Rotherham's the best choice out of the two.
It's just a car park for Meadowall.
Oh, behave.
What are your Alex? What are your hopes for the season? Really, then, have you been, because you guys are perennial playoff strugglers?
Well, yeah. I like the thing is with Salford fans, a lot of them, because obviously we've got the 4 promotions in 5 seasons before we got into the Football League. A lot of them do optimize to get up the leagues, whereas I want to like create like a not create, but like, like just be a strong League 2 team who always push for the playoffs. Because when we go in like too like overconfident, I think it just gets above us, and then we try aim too high, and then we just don't play well. I think that's what happened towards the back end of last season. We had the second best form after January. We would have actually finished in the playoffs, but I think, and then towards the end of the season, the games we were playing, it was just awful football. Like we drew 2-2 to Barrow. That cost us to get into the playoffs at the end of the season. But no, I do want us to get into the playoffs, and don't get me wrong, it'd be nice to go up, it'd be class, but at the same time, around the playoffs, I want us to finish.
And given you're a relatively new club to the league, what game is it that you first look for on the old fixture list? Is it Stockport, or is there somebody else you've got your eye on?
It was always really Oldham, because I know it's like nothing in the 92, but it's getting quite a big derby between us, like the games, and then obviously we sent them down on the last day. We actually relegated them, which it was brilliant. But obviously now Stockport are in the Football League, and we always used to play them in like the National League North, National League. So yeah, that'll definitely be a good game against Stockport. So I think really now, because obviously Oldham have been relegated, Hartlepool and Stockport mainly.
That's why Hartlepool?
Well, because we played them around 5 years ago, and they brought loads of fans, for the EFL, the Checkatrade Trophy. And then and then they put them right next to these like fans, and then they all started, and it was so many people got arrested. It was just crazy. And then ever since then, they've always tried to force a rivalry.
That sounds amazing. That does sound amazing. What are your hopes? Have you got a prediction for Saturday? What can we expect from you? What are you hoping to get?
Well, it is at Salford, isn't it? Or is that
probably. I'll be honest, mate. We do as much research as anybody else. We have no idea.
Bought a train ticket. Put it that way, Alex.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, so it's at ours. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, well, if I'm not working, I go every home game, and then obviously, if I'm not working, I get to away as much as possible. But Grimsby, I've always wanted to go to Grimsby for years, so hopefully I'll be able to come. But onto the score.
No, you're at home. You're at home Saturday, mate. You're at home this Saturday.
Oh, is it?
That's my fault. I led Alex down that path. Then I said I made noises that it was at our place. Don't worry, Alex. We'll meet up at Blundell Park. We'll go for fish and chips, and we'll watch it on a VPN or something like that. All right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've been to Scunthorpe.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
Well,
it's great. You won't be going this season, mate.
Yeah,
or for a few seasons. Let's be honest. Look, Alex, it's a pleasure to speak to you, mate. Thank you so much for jumping on late. That's all right.
Salford. Are you welcome to the game?
Bruce will be. Bruce is our.
I'm in Spain, mate, Anna. I'm in Spain.
Don't use that excuse. That's mine and Mike's excuse.
Have you? Yeah, you'll definitely sell out. You would definitely sell out, I'm presuming.
Yeah, it'll be a good away. It'll be a good day. You'll enjoy it. It's a pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for jumping on.
No worries. All the best.
See you later, mate. Have a nice day.
See you later.
Bye. Right. That was amazing. Great to have somebody come on and talk about it.
I wonder where else Alex has been. He's been to Scunthorpe.
He's been to all the good places.
Skegness. He's been everywhere, that lad.
Well, Alex helpfully led us into. Did anyone want to say anything more about Hursty before we moved on? I mean, that was 20 minutes of other teams, so hopefully we haven't lost everybody.
I don't think it'll happen. It's not the end of the world if it does.
Fine. Bruce, what were you going to say?
I'm just shitting myself about playing Carlisle and Salford. Like bloody Juve and Real Madrid, innit?
You remember when we used to go, we got Wolves on Saturday. That's going to be a toughie.
No, but I'm just like I say, they're just so happy about their teams, aren't they? They just don't sound like us.
What
Mate,
are they
will
like
you-
when
will
they?
you
What are they
cheer
like?
up?
Oh, the
Well,
Carlisle lad he's absolutely over the moon at the mid-table.
He did. I was going to make a joke, but he did like the Russell Slade thing of Tottenham. You know, when he was going, "This guy's good. This guy's good." It's like, who do we need to watch out for? All of them. Okay.
The
Oh,
Frenchman.
no.
The
Just be
Frenchman.
grateful they've got 7 out injured.
Yeah, but the other ones are amazing too. It's like they're fighting off PSG. It's like, leave us alone. We got, Carlisle have got a team.
They need to wait till bloody Danny Amos comes on, don't they? Then they'll see a player.
Oh,
You need to cheer up, Bruce. I've noticed the last few weeks since you've not been able to get rid of that picture, you've been a miserable bastard.
it's like, it's
I need
like
to go to the cricket club with it.
it's like Harry Potter's little Horcrux thing, isn't it? It's just emanating negativity out to Bruce.
You can just see him getting lower and lower in that chair, slink down every week, can't you?
He's going. Look, Muhammad Ali, that's Salford, and the guy on the canvas, that's Town.
Hey, we'll have a new player, won't we, next weekend on the calendar?
I
Who
don't
we
even
got
know
this
who we've
month?
got at the moment.
Right. Is it somebody that's still here? What do you reckon, Mr. October?
Hang on. I might have a drum roll here. Hang on.
Hang on, Bruce. Hang on.
I know it's bad luck to turn the calendar over early, isn't it? But right,
I've got this. I've got this.
The Frenchman was an absolute disgrace when he went on. I tell you, I'm.
There you
brilliant,
go. We've got
brilliant.
that.
Right, seamless. Right, Mike, is it a player that's still here?
The Frenchman was an absolute
I don't-
disgrace when.
I don't think it is because I think we've done this already, Bruce, a couple of months ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it's not,
Max
no.
right.
When he went on.
Well, actually,
I
if
tell
you listen
I'm
to
looking at the Frenchman was an absolute disgrace when he went on. I tell you who I'm looking at, the Frenchman was
I
an
can
absolute
loop it.
disgrace
I
when he
can
went on.
loop it.
I tell you who I'm looking at, the Frenchman was an absolute disgrace when he went on.
Is anyone still listening now?
I know how much you love that, Alex, by how long it took you. You were determined to play it to Rob Jones, weren't you?
Yeah, he did, yeah. 75 people are still listening.
Bloody hell.
Sad bastards.
They must be leathered.
Yeah, that's it. John Lewis is gone.
He's not the only one, is he?
Which I'll be honest, a lot of people wanted last season. Maybe not so many this season. But there we go.
Alex.
I told you, didn't I? Told you, he's a goal machine, that man.
He is a gold machine. Gold
Oh,
and
goal
gold
machine, more like, yeah.
Yeah. Gold machine. We need to find us. Look, I think it was I don't know. What do you think those people are like when they lose? Do they just feel betrayed? Is that what it is? Like, well, Bruce was talking about how positive the Carlisle guy was, the Salford guy was. Like, but we're the best team in the world. How did we lose to Harrogate?
Did you talk so positively about Town on theirs, or do they think they're going to win 5-0?
Oh yeah, I send them all with a false sense of optimism.
There's nothing to not be positive about.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it?
And Leighton Orient. I mean, it can't get much better than that.
Oh, hey, hang on. Last of the summer wine over it. There's a tea in Leighton Orient.
Orient.
Leighton Orient.
Alex, I've got some good news on my notes, some positivity.
Go ahead.
The fan zone was full yesterday at 1:45, and it's capacity up to 350 now, and it was absolutely rammed, 1 in, 1 out at 1:45.
They need another deck.
Any bushes to fall in?
I tell you what, other good. Sorry, go ahead, Bruce.
I was just going to say the only problem is when they build that seating, it'll all be in the dark, won't it? So they won't be so popular then.
We'll just get a light. It's problem sorted.
Yeah, it's not the same. The sun yesterday was boiling in there.
Oh, well, don't worry about that. You won't have that problem in February.
But apparently Slipway were poorly, though, so there was no food. I don't know.
No.
Dodgy Scotch egg or something.
I haven't even had one of their bits of food yet. Do you know what? I haven't eaten at Blundell Park yet with the new food.
Haven't you got Deliveroo?
What, from Blundell Park? Do
Yeah.
you know what? I think we're getting to that point now where people will start doing that. You got as many people waiting for the Deliveroo side as you have got for the half time.
You could order it in advance. Couldn't you?
a long way
When you
for it.
down to France so that you feel part of the match day experience.
Let's talk about Chineses again.
Let's not.
That was I got people telling me about all of these different Chineses for the next week. It's obviously a gold mine of content.
What's your favourite boulangerie?
Boulangerie. Do you know what? There is. Who is it? I will type it. French boulangerie with black sign.
Is that like Dungaree?
You better type that right, mate. Otherwise, you're going to get some bit of dodgy search history in there.
I've just got French
There
black
says
French
a man.
lingerie.
There says a man who knows.
I just got black French lingerie.
Yeah.
So that was good. Brilliant. I don't know where it is, but they're yeah, I don't know. Shall I tell you what we did do? There's a nice little service station outside Paris that did an amazing baguette. Loved it. But that's it. Best pub grub, best pubs. There we go, Ollie. Best pubs in Grimsby of Leicester year. Bruce is on it. He will say,
no. There's some nice. No, I'm not. Don't start talking about this. Is a football podcast.
It's part of the experience. What are you going to say, Mike?
I was just going to say, you're talking about service stations in France and Spain. They're like every 10 miles, aren't they? It's amazing.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
What was I going to say?
Yes, thank you.
I've got some more good news, though. So the latest figures for banning orders is out. Town only gained another 5 last year, which means now our total is 19, down from, I think the highest was 72. So we are down to, 19 active current banning orders, which is pretty good. We're all behaving ourselves.
Anyone would think that the main problem had left the club.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Holloway,
yeah, he did make people quick into anger. Bruce looks fed up. He always looks fed up, Daniel. We're not very good with the content nowadays. Best services on the M180. Hey, how come the petrol station on the A180 is cheaper than everywhere else at the moment?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it?
Yeah, it's one of the cheapest in the country.
I suppose it's at the end of a road, isn't it?
I can't see what it says. It's
Not a
probably
clue,
selling
mate.
something.
It's a smiley face.
It looks kind of sinister.
It's a smiley face.
I'm going to go to bed dreaming about that now.
Or it could be a car, couldn't it?
Jesus, mate.
I think we've done.
We are done. But I mean, looking forward to the weekend. What are we expecting from Carlisle and stuff? Are we expecting a few changes? And, hopefully get that win on the board, isn't it? Because that's becoming a bit of a thing around us, isn't it?
I'm really keen to try and, for us, obviously we always want to get a win, but I think Tuesday is going to be, if we can get that first win at home, that's going to be massive to sort of draw a line under Swindon and get the first one off our back. I'll be honest, I would take a win on Tuesday, and I'd probably expect us to draw, maybe lose at Salford, because Salford's a pretty tough place to go. So yeah, good job. We've got the game quite soon after. I think there'll be a few changes. Hopefully get that win on Tuesday, and then we've got a bit of a free hit on Saturday, I think.
Daniel, John Lewis, I nearly read out your comment. Daniel Lewis said, can see Mayer for Smith. Maybe he didn't have an amazing game yesterday, but I think he's 19. Yeah, exactly.
He's a young lad, and if you're 8 out of 10 every single week, you're not in League Two. So you got to accept that it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's it really. Unless anyone's got anything to add, it hurt.
I'm so excited for Tuesday. So excited.
Oh my God,
we are the best. We are the best team in League Two, bar none.
Who would you say if you went on another podcast and they said, "Who are your danger men?" Who would you say, Bruce? Apart from all of them,
Mendonca.
So
Dave Gilbert's got a good cross on him.
I really like Tony Rees.
Poughton, mate. You could talk about Poughton for 4 podcasts, couldn't you?
Oh, don't say that. Now I'm sad.
No, be happy. Be happy that we once had them. Who would I say were our danger men?
I said Smith, which is terrible.
Luke Waterfall.
No! Harry Clifton, Luke Waterfall, Andy Smith is amazing.
Glennon. When Glennon's bombing down the wing, he gets a smashing ball, and
let's pump Bruce up here. Glennon is one of the best assist makers in the league. Alex Hunt is fresh and is coming in, and you can see his passing is quick and cool. Ryan Taylor, got on the score sheet, and look at that pass he made for Clifton at Colchester. That was amazing. Experienced head up front with the likes of Richardson, really tricky. Simmons looks powerful and strong as well.
One thing I think it is maybe irrelevant is we probably don't have that out and out dangerman, and that's because generally speaking we're a very good team and we score team goals and everybody chips in, which is not a bad thing. Instead of relying on a McAtee to get a goal, we sort of have them all over the park. So if we don't have somebody that's head and shoulders, but everybody on the field is chipping in from the centre halves to Clifton to Morrison players. So
we're going to limp to an hour. So come in with your players that you're going to like. Who are the real ones? So here we go. So John Lewis has said Holohan is amazing when he's on his game. Adam Panel brings me down, says we're really missing that pout and battling leadership in the side. We're missing everything about Alan Powell. Let's be honest, Adam. We've been a lesser club.
He's
never mind too.
Park.
He better to be.
Have you seen there's a speaker? No, seriously, there's a night with Norlater doing a night with Pout and Jevons and Danny Butterfield about the win at Anfield.
They probably won't allow me. Ollie Hodson is saying Crocom's kicking is incredible. Exactly. And he's an incredible keeper as well, Ollie. Daniel Lewis has said, look at JMD and Khan. They look players. Look at that goal that Khan took on. JMD coming in, really creative on Saturday. Bruce, you got a question? Yes.
No, you've just made me think of something positive.
Go on.
When they ask, if another podcast asks me where our greatest threat comes from, I'll probably say off the bench. They're all sat next to Paul Hurst.
Andrew Matthews says Morris has got a good engine. He really does. Daniel Lewis asked if Bruce's needs a wee. Stephen McNade has
that was me.
Had enough. Well, you had your hand up.
No, he just said, God.
Stephen McDade said, really nothing to be negative about. I would have settled for this at the start of See, this is it, Stephen.
Absolutely, Stephen.
You were the experienced former player. Tell us who's your danger man? What are you positive about? Let's make sure Bruce isn't on suicide watch by the end of this. Marin Hoda says Crocom's cramp is something special. Decent food. Is it because someone's taking your seat in front of you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Lots of people around you now.
We'll win Saturday because I'm not there. I'm a little bit concerned about Tuesday because I am going. But
I'm a bit worried, Bruce. Just me and you, mate. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
Is everything all right?
I'm fine.
Please, for the love of God, whoever won that picture, please take it.
Is it because you've not been down cricketers today, mate?
Or could you imagine if you smashed it?
I haven't been drinking today.
No, you can tell. That's the problem. The team's togetherness is the biggest asset. I hope you mean the team, not the pod.
That's us three.
Yeah, exactly. Sharon says, nice pair, Bruce. I mean, you might have to fill us in on that.
maybe later.
Okay. Brilliant. I mean, look, I'm looking forward to it. And it's nice to see. I don't think there was a massive meltdown on Saturday. We had a couple of chances. Could have gone the other way, Yeah.
There was no meltdown.
There was no meltdown.
Everybody clapped the players off.
Honestly, I think if we'd have took that 1-1 at half-time, I think it'd have been a completely different game. I think that second goal was bigger than it seemed when it was scored. If we go in there 1-1 and he changes what he did, I'd have thought we'd have won that game, to be honest.
Tell you who I'm looking at, the Frenchman. The Frenchman was an absolute disgrace when he went on. I tell you who I'm looking at.
I'll stop it there. Bruce, shall we go?
Who do you think was Mr. October in 2019?
Oh my God, this is a new game, isn't it? I am going with who's permanent. Is that the relegation season?
Oh wait, you won't guess, mate. You won't guess.
Was it the relegation season?
It's not Graham Taylor either. 2019.
Is it Graham Taylor?
No, it wasn't. No, it's not Graham Taylor. No, that's the Legends side.
Frenchman. The Frenchman was an absolute.
This calendar was good because it had, like, if you got a player that had left, you could have a legend. It was on the other side. Akeem Rose.
Akeem Rose.
What's he doing now? Wasn't he at Dover? Is he lost now?
I don't know what he's doing, mate.
Hang on, let's have a look. Akeem Rose.
He scored a goal in one of the games, I remember.
He's currently playing he's playing at Weymouth. And he's now on loan at Wimborne. Where the fuck is Wimborne? It's in Dorset.
Has Montel Gibson had his baby yet?
I assume
he's at the party.
So it was like Weymouth last. See, guys, you're all slow. It's Wimborne. That's where he is. What's the calendar you got there? This is the last one, then we'll go because it's Sunday. I got on my bath.
This has got to finish like this. This is the 2021. Unfortunately, it's the horrible kit that means that stinks of relegation. And you're looking for Mr. October. This man is going to transfer. If he's still here, he's going to transform the game for you on Tuesday. The main man,
Christian Dennis,
Danny Rose.
Oh, bloody hell! Get the hat on.
I can't hold it any longer. It's vibrating.
It is Pollock. Right, let's leave it there because this is, as always, descended into farce. We'll talk about your favourite Indians next week from Grimsby and Cleethorpes, and we can talk about your favourite curry house. Before then, enjoy playing Carlisle and enjoy playing us against Salford, who are apparently the two greatest teams on the history of the earth. So no worries. Mike, pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Bruce, I love you.
But we are going to absolutely destroy them both.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I just say, I've noticed, when he took that picture down, he got in a bad mood. He's put the picture back up and now he's happy again. It's haunted.
Do you know what? Should we get it as a flag? Do you think it will get a copyright thing if we get it as an 8x4 flag and we'll get the club to permanently hang it up at the back of the pony?
I'm more worried about if we keep getting flags, mate. We're going to get cancelled.
Yeah, that's true. We can start our own little sail ship. Right. Thank you very much, everyone. Speak to you soon. See you later. Bye.
See ya.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.